This is the training video for the Communications 1 station. In order to access the station, click the sphere at the center of the screen and then click on the Access Terminal button. You will then need to type in your name. Type in your full name and then click OK. At this point, you can stop the video until you're done. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to type in training. Once you have put in your name, you now have access to the other buttons on the screen. This will be the most important. And then to access the functions of the station, drag your mouse to the top right corner of the screen until a drop box appears. And then you have access to the officer's log, decoding, signal jammer, and the long-range message relay. Let's first look at the officer's log. This will be something where you can put in personal messages or a personal journal that you can record throughout your mission. In order to use it, first you give the entry a title. We'll type in Training 1. You don't really have to do this at this point. I just want you to look at it. Then you say, I am training, very lost, whatever. Click Save Your Entry. And at that point, you can keep doing entries under this Training 1 title. I am not so lost anymore. I have finished training, whatever. It's your personal journal, and then you save it to include your latest entry. Now, you can choose between different entries if you have more than one title by closing your entry first and then giving yourself a new entry. New. Training 2. I'm just doing a very quick demo. I can now save that. Now if I go to Open Entry, I then can choose between the different entries that I have, and I will then pop up what I've got. I can also delete the entry, and should your ship be going down and you want to save your entry for all time and eternity, in the ship's black box you click Send Logs to Records. And off they go. You will not be able to access them once they're sent to the records, just so you know. That's the officer's training screen in a quick nutshell. You're free to go in there and play around with it and learn more about it later. But it's a low priority screen, so we're now going to move on to the decoding screen. Again, take your mouse to the top corner until the drop box appears and click on Decoding. This is the screen where you send long-range messages and do it with encryption. This is also where you receive long-range messages. Long-range messages are very much like emails. They send off to another ship or a station or whatever destination you set, and they have no range to them. They just go to where you send them. And they also, this is where you receive messages from wherever it's sent from, again with no range. When you receive a message, a drop-down box will appear that says you have received a new message. And you'll receive that whether you're on any of these screens. And then you'll know that there's a new message for you. We'll get to that later though. Let's look at this screen in more detail. There's 3 parts to it. You have your cipher bank here where you have your 11 standard ciphers and a button where you can add in new ciphers that you may receive during your mission. Once you receive that cipher, you'll simply enter in the cipher code and submit, and you will be able to use the cipher. Over here are messages that you have received. Notice we've received one from Starbase 12. That's why it's called Starbase 12 here, so you know who it's from. Notice also it's red. It's red because it has not been decoded yet. So let's click on the message, and sure enough you get a bunch of gobbledygook. If you want to be able to read what it says, you'll need to figure out which cipher to use. So now go up to Cipher, click on 77-4B, and click Decode Message. Well, we are changing from gobbledygook to hogwash here. So obviously 77-4B is not the correct cipher that you would use to decode this message. You're going to have to try another one. So go up here to A3-13 and you can click Decode Message. You don't have to wait for the other one. Now, when we're still getting gobbledygook, let's try 09-X3. Again, notice I do not have to wait for the message to decode. And I'm still not getting the right one. So at this point, what I want you to do is stop the video and I want you to cycle through the various ciphers until you find the correct one. Once you found the correct one, you can start the video again. Alright, and we're back. So you should have figured out at this point that 88-J3 was the correct cipher. And we are now receiving that message successfully below. Let's read what it says. To Voyager from Starbase 12, that makes sense. This is a test message. When you have successfully decoded it, respond to us with a message that says we read you loud and clear, and encrypt it with cipher AR-48, Starbase 12 out. Excellent. Okay, so now we need to respond to this message. In order to do that, you're going to go to this button here that says Send Message. Click on it, and you get a new window here where you can compose your own long-range message. The first thing to do when making a long-range message is to click on the Set Destination button here to tell the computer where to send it. Now we received our message from Starbase 12, so let's respond to Starbase 12. Type in Starbase 12 and click Submit. It automatically types in the 2 for us, which is nice. So now let's type in our message. What is it that we were supposed to say again? We read you loud and clear. Go ahead and type that in now. You may stop the tape and resume once you have completed. Okay, so you should have a message similar to what I have now on the screen. You'll see that I have observed some standard protocols where I state my message and then I state Voyager out. That's just how messages are written for some reason. It is your job to be reporting back to the station or starbase or officer, whoever it is that sent you on your mission, about every 10 minutes. The people at Command Central, or what have you, are going to be very anxious about updates to your mission. They will be wanting to know all the little details. And since you are the one that can send messages at any distance, it is your responsibility to make sure that that information gets back. Now, what do you tell them? Well, that is the first officer's job. So you need to be working with the first officer to come up with the message contents and make sure that they are being sent every 10 or 15 minutes. Now, once you have your message and contents, first you need to decide what cipher to use to send it. We were instructed to send it back using the cipher AR-48. So click on AR-48. It goes gray to indicate that we've chosen it. And when we send our message, it will be sent as a coded message. So let's do that now. Click Send Message.
New long-range message.
And the message is sent. Note you can also clear your message. It just wipes out whatever you have in this window. And that covers the long-range messages and decoding screen. Now let's go to the signal jammer. A signal jammer is a frequency that our ship emits that will cancel out frequencies being sent from other ships, effectively making it as if they aren't sending those signals out at all. It's very handy when someone has some information that you don't want them to share, and they're trying to share it. There are 3 different types of signals that a ship can send, as you can see at the bottom of your screen where it says electrical, communications, and sensors. Those are the 3 different types. In order to activate the jammer, well, you just simply press the Activate Jammer button. Click on it now. And when you do that, the computer is going to scan in your local area for signals being emitted by other ships or stars or whatever. And it's going to report what it finds on these 3 lines. It's up to you to decide which ones to block. Note that you can't choose or target whatever object you want to focus your jamming on. You just jam in the local vicinity. So you'll want to be somewhat close to your target to make sure that you are receiving their signals. And then, once you have activated and you know that the object that you want to jam is in your vicinity and that the frequencies that you're seeing here are from that object, you want to choose which of the signals to block. An electrical signal will cause power outages in the ship, if you jam those, that is. A communication signal will prevent them from sending out any sort of long or short range message. And their sensors will blind them if you jam that. Now, unfortunately, jamming is not a passive activity. It's something that you have to actively be doing. The computer is just reporting to you the frequencies that it's picking up. In order to jam them, you need to tell the computer which ones to jam. So you simply then click on them. And I have now jammed all of those signals. And when they come through, and when they come through again, you just have to keep clicking on them. It's a difficult thing to jam all 3 different signals from a single source. And it's going to require your diligence and attention in order to do so. You'll typically be using your jammer at very critical moments, so be sure that you are on the ball when you are doing this activity. Feel free to practice here for a little while. And when you're finished, you can simply deactivate the jammer. The signals that you are reading will continue across the screen, but no new ones will appear. And that completes the signal jammer screen. The last screen is the long-range relay station. This is a very specialized station and will not be required on all missions. In order to find out if you will need this screen on your current mission, stop the video, raise your hand, and talk to the staff member on the bridge. The staff member will train you on that station. And that concludes the training video for this station. Go ahead and stop your video and raise your hand to let the staff members know that you're finished.